I put the net of Shabbos. Ready to go? Parsha Gedoyla, yeah? That's what we're up to. Top line on Daf Yomi. Once I'm saying good net of Shabbos, I might as well make a bracha on a drink, Rabanan.
Yeah, I just ate some common from Shabbos. So.
Except I don't have a cup. That's the only problem. But what can I do?
I'll turn off the video.
Yeah, no recording. Fine. Okay, so Parsha Gedoyla Karin Oisa B'Shnayim B'Shachris Uva mussaf Uva Mincha Karin Alpian. So now it's interesting because this Gemara wants to know where you put the comma, right? All these Gemaras that we want to know is, where do you put the comma? So the Gemara actually asks here, because if you read it, it says Parsha Gedoyla Karin Oisa B'Shnayim B'Shachris Uva mussaf Uva Mincha Karin Alpian. So where is the comma? Is the comma after Shacharis? Is it after mussaf? Or it's that? Those are the two options actually. After Mincha is not an option, right? So Yibaylu Heichi Kamar B'Shachris Uva mussaf Karin Oisa the sefer. By Shacharis and mussaf you read it from a sefer. Uva Mincha Karin Oisa al peh, and Mincha they read it al peh. Kikarin Shema, the same way we read Shema. Aydil Mahachi Katani. Or the way you read it is B'Shachris Karin Oisa b'Sefer. When we mean sefer, we mean sefer Torah, right? A cloth. B'Shachris Karin Oisa b'Sefer. Uva mussaf Uva Mincha Karin Oisa al peh. Kikarin Shema. Right. So again, it's the whole question is where do you put the comma, and whether they read from the Torah by Mincha too, or just by mussaf too, or just by Shacharis. That's essentially the question. Tashma, the Tani, Shacharis and mussaf, nefnasim lebeis hakneses. By Shacharis and mussaf, they go into shul. The Karin Gedera Shekarin Kol Hashana, and they read it the way they read a whole year. Over Mincha, Yachid Kaira Isa al peh, and by Mincha, the Yachid reads it al peh. Some of Yosef, if the Yachid Likras did the Torah al peh b'tzibur, is a Yachid allowed to read something al peh b'tzibur, right? Meaning, if you're being mitzi somebody, you need to read it. Elakula nechnas, meaning you have to read it from a cloth. So elakula nechnas and v'karin asa al peh k'karin Shema. Everybody comes in and reads it al peh, like they read Shema. Right? So because basically what the Gemara is saying, that you're not allowed to read something al peh that you're going to, you're really not, meaning Torah shebiksav, you're not allowed to read al peh. Yeah. So therefore, he was not allowed to be. So the question is, if Torah shebiksav, you're not allowed to read al peh, so then what do we do? Right? So what do we do when we read Torah shebal peh by heart all the time? Right? So how do we get around it? So there's all sorts of different terutzim about it. Some it's only
you just said you can't read Torah shebal peh.
I'm sorry, Torah shebiksav you cannot read al peh.
Okay. Isn't this just to be motzi someone on something? It's not regular.
Oh, so that's what it's mashma from the Gemara. From the Gemara, it's mashma that it's only if you're using it to be mitzi somebody, right? But if you just want to read it, then you'd be allowed, right? Then it would be allowed. But even that, it's not okay. The Rishonim go through all this, yeah. Right. Okay, so whatever, but that's a sugya. Basically, what they say is that first the Beis also say that nach does not count as Torah. Meaning it counts as Torah. No, meaning it's not considered the Torah shebiksav for this. So then most of what we're reading during davening is Tehillim, right? Another thing is you have a problem with Oz Yashir, right? That's from the Torah, and Shema we're allowed because Shema everybody's used to. Okay, but it's a sugya. Anyways, fine. So kol yom sheyesh by Hallel ein by maimed. Any day that had Hallel didn't have a maimed. My hefresh ben zelazeh. Why? Meaning, so that's going on the Gemara. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I knew there was something I wanted to say. So when I was checking the Erev, I heard Rabbi Rosner, because the same type of sugi. Yesterday, we learned that you're not allowed to split up a pasuk, right? Any pasuk that Moshe split up, you're not allowed to. So he said from the Lahiris Nassim, Rav Nassim Gestetner, who said that how come when a Gemara, when it's quoting Torah Shabbat Peh, it says Bechulu, Vav Chavav. When it does Torah Shabbat Peh, it does Bechulu. When it says Torah Shabbat it says Begoymer. Right? So he said that, I don't know where he got it from, the Rav Nassim Gestetner, that the goyim is pshat, because it quotes a pasuk, you're not allowed to stop. You should finish the pasuk, because you can't quote the pasuk like that, right? You can't quote half a pasuk. What's the problem, Gersh? You wanted? He's shaking his head. I don't know if he's shaking his head at me or he's shaking his head at somebody else. Okay, bye. Anyways, so then we say, so it was just an interesting thing. So kol yom sheyesh be Hallel ein by ma'avid. Any day that has Hallel doesn't have ma'avid. My hefresh ben zel is that what's the difference between these two? Hallel divrei Torah, Hallel divrei seifrim. Mussaf is midrabanan, Mincha is minat Torah. Okay, so now, I mean there's different ways of learning which one's halal and which one's halal, but from this Gemara is mashma, that tefilos mincha would be minat Torah, which we say that it's a Rabanan.
I'm gonna ask a stupid question. What's ma'amad?
Mamados, what we're learning for the last 2 blocks. You space, okay, it's not.
No. I've been listening for 2 blocks, but I'm not.
Ma'amad is the people that you needed to stand over the karbanos tzibur. You needed the whole Klal Yisrael to stand there. But how's you getting the whole Klal Yisrael to stand there? So they made 24 mamados connected to the mishmaris.
I meant this in davening.
Right, so they put in extra davenings, but when there was something else going on in the davening, like Hallel and other things, so they didn't have time to do the mamados, so then they skipped.
We don't
the
have
mamados.
that now.
What?
Is it something that we have now? Or it's not something we have now?
No.
No,
worry,
that's okay.
You're not, you're not missing out on anything.
No, because the way it was read, culture is Hallel, and by ma'amad, I thought we take something out. I'm trying to think what we take out. But,
no. Parshas Hamon, maybe. I don't know. No. Okay. Rabanan, you wanted to say something?
No, I'm glad that enough totally is that you explained something that I didn't understand. Thank you.
Okay, so let's see about this. Says man
I had no idea we were talking about an extra davening that they put in.
Oh, I
was wondering. I didn't understand why when there was mussaf we didn't have them on Shemaimed. So I was wrong.
Okay, so Baruch Hashem. Okay, Baruch Hashem. Good. Okay, so man natik kahanabam. So we said that there's 9 times that families from that they have a special time that they could give wood, which I was just wondering. So what's your prize for, because, okay, let's read the Gemara first, and then why do they have to say that there's man atziv kahanim ba'am, right? So amru kishalu b'nei hagayla loy matzu eitzim b'lishka. There was no wood. There was no wood in the lishka because they had just come up from Galus. And these people came and they were manad of their own private wood. And the Nevi'im between them made a Tanai. Even if the Beis hamikdash has a lishka full of wood, these people get to come once a year and to give their own wood. And they put out goyrolos for the people for the wood. Lahavi lebeis elikenu, to bring to the Beis elikenu lebeis aviseinu liitim uzumanim to at certain times shana b'shana every year, right? Levar al mizbeach Hashem elikenu kakosa b'Torah, to burn on the mizbeach that says in the Torah, right? So therefore they had a special time. So what ended up happening? So because they donated wood, so now Mamela, what's their schar? They get to donate more wood.
Yeah, they get the schus of doing it every year, all the time. Yeah,
I'm just saying. So it's a schus. It's a schus for them to go give more.
So, if you want to say no good deed goes unpunished. That's
sort of what I'm asking. Sort of what I'm.
So it's also it's a zechus that's also an obligation.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what.
Well, maybe
That's-
if they chose to, they didn't have to, but they was this chus that they wanted.
No,
Why,
I know
why
what
we
you mean. No,
why are we
you're
trying
right.
to find the negative?
No, that's what Avi.
No,
trying
but I'm
to find
saying
the
is the
you know
lot
my
is
MO,
the
that's my
lottery
MO.
is the lottery for the zechus or is the lottery for the obligation?
Well, that's
There
what.
were
oh, so
numerous
you-
families. There were
you're
numerous
saying good,
families. So
you're
how do you
saying
pick
good,
which
so-
one gets which one?
So I'm saying that it sounds like an obligation, but really it's a schus. Meaning, right? That's what you're saying, Avi. Right?
Right, we had it a couple of blot ago where it talked about that one family that gave again.
Right, so-
That sounded like that family, the parish family, had an obligation to give again because it fell on them.
Right. So that's what's right. So it comes out. It's very interesting that your reward is more obligation. Which all I'm trying to bring out is a little mussar, right? Even though we're starting the mussar chabura next week, but bring out a mussar that yes, if you have an obligation to do things, then that is actually a reward. To work harder to get dues comes out that that's a reward. Even though you might say, "Oh, now we got to schlep up to the Beis hamikdash and we got to whatever." Yeah, that's your reward. That is your reward. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I don't know
kinda
if he
looked
still
at this
does it. I don't because I don't go to yeshiva anymore for Torah. But Mr. Benjamin started giving schnapps. I walked to his house many years ago and picked up 2 shopping bags full of mashka for simple Torah, and he gave every year
Oh, so that's it,
for
right?
many years, Mr. Benjamin. Yeah.
See, Yaakov, I was going to kind of heard from how it works with the yeshivas. It doesn't matter that you're all wealthy now and you gave money. They still recognize what you did in the past.
So
One second, Paris, you trying to get out of a donation? What are you trying to do?
No, I'm
Sorry,
saying they
trying to
recognize,
say-
you know what? You stepped up to the plate. Now you have the schus of continuing to do it. We're not going to mess you over because some new guy came in.
Right. Yeah. It's based
I
on
thought you were
this
gonna
Gemara,
say if
brother.
someone donates
Yeah.
$20,000 to a yeshiva, the yeshiva can turn around and tell him, okay, on this date, every year for the next
that's
50
exactly.
years, you can
Excuse me. I
donate
don't know where Zev Bold
$20,000.
is. I don't know where Zev Bold is, but that's exactly what they do.
He's busy with the dinner.
Yeah,
No,
but
they
it's
usually
good,
say
No,
last
he's
year
in
you were so
Chicago.
nice
He's in
to give us
Chicago for Shacharis.
$30,000. Can you up it this year?
correct. No, that's what they do. They say, "Hey, you had the schus last year, so now you
That's
want
not
the
what
schus."
they're saying here. They're saying like you gave $100,000 last at the yard site. Now we need another 30 grand now just to finish it off. Is that
Okay,
a
which-
zechus or an obligation?
I don't know. I hear. You know, it's like, so, no, you help somebody out and then you got to go help them some more. You know, I go, what? That's my star. I got to go help you more. You know? Okay, Shine, whatever it is. No, I'm saying, so I'm sure, David, some people don't come to the grocery store and say, hey, you remember you helped me out a couple weeks ago? I needed some this and that. And now, can you do it again? Like what I'm saying, I did it once.
I get it all the time. I get it all the
Right.
time.
Right. So why would I do it in the first place? Then you're just gonna keep punishing me more. Anyways, okay, so fine. Yes, the Torah what did they say? Meaning, I'm saying what were they? They stole a pestle, you know, the thing that they crushed. That's what they were called, and they were also called fig cutters. The goyim, obviously, this is talking about even in the second Beis hamikdash when the Yidden still weren't in power, and the goyim made exer no bringing wood up to the Beis hamikdash. No bringing bikurim. Bikurim is the first fruits of the shivas haminim. What? Excuse me, but Shiva Prasdaris ala drachim, and they put cops, they put police on the ways to blockages. The same way you rub them in a which we had a few blot ago, also made blockages that nobody could go to Eretz Yisrael. Shaliyali Yisrael the regal, that people shouldn't go up to the regal because he wanted them to go someplace else. So ma'asu ksherin shebayis hadar v'yerei. What did they? There's a little gear system. Some say ksherim v'yirei chet shebayis hadar. Whichever it was, what did the ksherim do? Which this is like these guys must have been the pre what do you call it, the chassidim, because this is something the chassidim would do. Litvish would just say, okay, what should we do? The chassidim would give an eitzah, right? So what did they do? Hiviu saleh bikurim. They brought baskets of bikurim, and they covered them over with dried figs, the nutlam, and they and they would carry the baskets with the dried figs, with the bikurim hidden under the dried figs, and they would have a pestle, a crusher on their shoulders. Since they got to the cops, the cops said to them, "Where you going?" They said to them, "We're going to take these figs and we're going to crush them together to make like a ball, the balls of figs, a wheel of figs, right? A wheel, right? They call it a wheel, yeah."
A cake. What? They call it cakes of figs.
A cake, right? A cake. I'm sorry. It looks like a wheel of a cake, right? Uba Ali shal kaspein. We're going to use the crusher that's on our shoulders. Kivan shavru me'han. Since they got through the blockade, itrum b'salam b'viyam Yerushalayim. They put the crowns on the baskets, and they brought to Yerushalayim. So therefore, that was their name. This family that did this got their name for they were called Ale, goyim Ale, because they made it like they stole with the pestle and they got through. I don't know how dumb these cops were, but okay, but they didn't think to look under the dried figs. Okay, fine. Tana, hein b'nei Salmai hanatufchi. This is the same family of Salmai from Natfuchi. Fine. Tana Rabanan, ma hein b'nei Salmai natfuchi. What did they do? They said that they're not going to bring, bringing wood. They put blockades. The same way Rav Nevat did. What did the people that had Yorei in that door? They took logs, pieces of wood, they made ladders. And they went with the ladders on their shoulders. And they went. Since they got to the blockade, they said, "Where are you going?" We're going to get our birds from the shayvach, from the chicken coop, whatever the coop. We're going with the ladders on our shoulders. I mean, how stupid are these cops? You're not allowed to bring wood, and then these frum guys come with these ladders on their shoulders made out of wood. Right, and they say, "We're just going to get our birds," and this
case might have been a little bit different.
What?
This case might have been. They might not have had to be so dumb. We learned that the Atzei Maracha had to be Amma al Amma. You can't make a sulam out of Amma al Amma. So they were making this.
Do you think they were so educated?
Who? They knew what Atzei Maracha were. They made a gzeira only on Atzei Maracha. They could take wood from one town to another.
I hear. Okay, maybe. All right. So anyway, so Kivan Shavar man, since they passed through the blockade, Pirkum, they took them apart, and they brought them to Yerushalayim. They brought Yerushalayim. These people, it says Zecher Tzadik Levracha. They should be remembered for bracha. And it doesn't say anything here about after they passed away. It just seems like you just remember them for bracha. That the name of Rishayim should decay. Fine. Boy, B'nai Pachas Maya ben Yehuda. So on the 20th was B'nai Pachas ben Yehuda. So Tana B'nai Pachas Maya ben Yehuda, right? B'nai Pachas Maya ben Yehuda is Hein B'nai David ben Yehuda. That's really David, which is meaning David HaMelech. So Rameir holds it's really David HaMelech. Rav Yossi Yomer Hein B'nai Yoya ben Tzruya. It was really Yoya ben Tzruya. Okay, both of them. This means that it was the leaders of the generation that were bringing the wood. So he says that was David. So they're both saying that a different name was really David HaMelech or Yoav. They came a second time. Money must listen. So it's the Mishnah. It can't be any of the three opinions that we just said that it's David or Yoav. Ira Meir Lisni Shavu B'nei David ben Yehuda Shnia. Why doesn't it just say that it was David ben Yehuda? Ira Rabbi Yehuda Lisni Shavu B'nei David ben Yehuda Shnia. That he should also say David ben Yehuda. Ira Rabbi Yossi Lisni Shavu B'nei Yaya ben Tzruya Shnia. Why doesn't it just say their names that they came up a second time? Why is it saying a different name? So it's a kash on all those opinions. So when it answers Lailam Rabbi Yossi, it's really Rabbi Yossi, Trey Tanoia, leave it to Rabbi Yossi. It's a machlokes. Who exactly were the names? Was it Yoav or is it David? So let's a machlokes. Fine. Well, let's just do a little bit more. Be'echa b'tevis lahoya by Maimed. Amar le makshisha breder of Chisel Ravashi. Hantam Beis. Maishna Hallel the dachi today. Why is Hallel? So we're saying, right? This is what we were saying at the beginning of the shir, that when there were extra things going on, so the mamados weren't davening because they didn't have time. So why is Hallel push off its ma'amid by Shacharis? You don't have to daven when you're davening Hallel, so then you don't do mamados by Shacharis. So Maishna mussaf the loy dachi today. But how come mussaf? Mussaf is also an extra tefillah. Why didn't they stop saying the mamados by mussaf? Ravashi hashta the lav didei dachi didei loy kol shekain. If it's pushing off, that's not part of it. Meaning, if you're pushing off mincha, so of course it should push off mussaf. Right, so that's what it means. Meaning, we were misunderstanding what it's saying. That really mussaf is pushed off. So Amralei, so he said back to him, this is what I was telling you. It should only push off mussaf. It shouldn't push off. Why is it pushing off mincha? Meaning, just because there's mussaf, and so you don't say the mamados by mussaf, so why are you not saying the mamados by mincha? So Amalei Ikar Rabbi Yosi the Kai Kavasaf. Rabbi Yosi actually holds like you. The Tana Rabbi Yosi. I'm call Yom Sheyesh by mussaf Yesh by ma'amid. Any day that has mussaf will have a ma'amid, right? Ma'amid is the mice. And which ma'amid? Elam ma'amid the Shacharis. If you say on a day that has mussaf, they still say the extra tefilos by Shacharis. Hatanakama Nami Hachikama. The Tanakam also says that that you have by Shacharis. Ela ma'amid the mussaf must be talking about ma'amid or mussaf. The day nami loy dachi. So then that's not. We don't push it off for mussaf either, right? Ela the mincha, but the mincha, so it must be that you're pushing off the ma'amid of mincha. So carbon ate some dachi, right? Then but that's when the carbon ate some. So that should push it off. So which one are you pushing off? Ela lav the neila must be neila, right? That I'm sorry, I keep saying pushing off. If I can't, which one does Rabbi Yosi hold? You do say. So we say it must be by nila. Shema mina didei dachi. That when there's mussaf, it push off mussaf. The lav didei loy dachi, but not when it's not mussaf, meaning nila. It's not taichit. Shema mina. So we hear from this that according to Rabbi Yosi, nila, the mamados by nila is always, yeah. Yeah, fine. Okay, well that's it. Now we start with the sugi of Hallel, which we'll wait for tomorrow night. Bez Hashem. Okay, so we said 8:00 tomorrow night. I hope the last part here wasn't so. It was a little hard tomorrow, but yeah.
Very good.
All
Good
right.
Shabbos, everybody.
Thank you.
Good
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Have a good Shabbos. Why is it so hard to read 3 psukim? You have to push it off.
Why is it so hard to what?
To read 3 psukim, that we have to push it off.
What do you mean? Why is it? So, I mean that. Yeah, I don't know.
The whole moment's 5 psukim.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Did you see the WhatsApp or no?
I just saw that you left a message, but I figured I'd just call you back.
Okay. Yeah, so Aaron is in a new house, a rental house in Philadelphia. He just discovered when it started getting colder today in the house. I said, then what is your fuel source?